As we are setting the mood for the weekend, Up Close with Nakato brings you a young woman born and openly living with HIV. She is an HIV advocate with a bachelor's degree in community-based rehabilitation and was the Miss Y Plus 2015-2016. She has been awarded by several networks for her commendable job in the community. Based on her experience as a young mother, Robinah Babirye is supporting young mothers in reaching their full potential. Nakato is my name. Welcome to the show.
The young women that I inspire or support are between the ages of 18 to 24, some above 24 of course, but mostly they are in that age bracket. And the main reason as to why I started supporting these young women is because there are some particular young women who are young mothers. And these young mothers face so many challenges and they need someone they can talk to. So some of them fear telling their issues to their parents. Some of them fear telling their issues to their, maybe they don't even have anyone they can talk to. So the best thing they do is they find a peer, a fellow peer they can talk to. And that is how I started doing this. And although there are also other activities that I really support them in, for example, like in advocacy, training them on how to advocate for their issues, their rights. I just offer like emotional support, psychosocial support. Sometimes I even go an extra mile of going to visit them and talk to them and get to see how they are doing. Some of them contact me when they are pregnant and then I guide them. Mostly right now, just because of the lockdown, I do most of the work online. And I get to interact with them online, some of them through WhatsApp. Others I could just give them a call. Others we could just text using text messages. So it depends on the kind of communication or the way they want to communicate. And I faced so many challenges when it came to being pregnant as a young woman, and most especially living with HIV. We find that most of these young girls or young women that come to me, they are all living with HIV, most of them. And they face so many challenges. Like I said, it's hard to say that for us, for example, here in our country, of course, you very well know that a girl who has not yet gotten married, when she becomes pregnant, it's more like a taboo. They are seen as, failures. So these are the same things that happen to these girls. And because of my story that I shared maybe online, on social media, through different talk shows, so some of them got my contact. Others know me because of the different activities that I do in the communities, but then most of them got to know me through the talk shows that and they reach me through those talk shows. As a young mother, first of all, I would say the challenge of trying to be a mother. For me, it did not come out right. My boyfriend broke up with me amidst my pregnancy, and it's kind of like hit me so much. And that fear as a young woman, especially living with HIV, brought in so many issues. And one of them was that, trying to be an example to other girls and then seeing that you're not really, achieving that. So I saw that I am an example. I have to be exemplary. I have to be, I would call it the perfect person in the eyes of the community. And yet here I was, reality hits me that, oh no, things are still the same way they are. Your boyfriend is gone, you're a single mom, or you're going to be a single mom. You're going to be a young mother, you are living with HIV. First of all, who is going to even take you, with your child? And you're living with HIV. So those are like two burdens. I would call them two burdens. You're living with HIV and then you're also a mother. That is one of them. Two is the stigma around you being a young woman. You've not yet gotten married. So society perceives it that you've been, you know, I would call it sleeping around, but then you've been like engaging in sex or sexual activity before marriage. So everybody will see you as, you know, oh my God, she did this before that. So in our society, culture has groomed us in a way that we have to follow process. You grow up, you go to school, after school you graduate. When you graduate, you have to get a job. After a job, you get a man. After a man, that is when they see now, you know, marriage and then kids. But then here we are, the process or the pattern is turned. After school, you have a job maybe the job is not there, and then you're pregnant or you have a child and you're not yet married. So society perceives it to be, oh my God, she did not follow the right path or the right process. So that is also one of the challenges. Then the other challenge is raising a child as a single mom. The father is not there, he's not even taking responsibility, but you have to be there for this child. You have to be the father, you have to be the mother, and you have to make sure that all their needs are fulfilled. As an HIV positive young mother, I should say the biggest challenge is trying to see that your child is not infected from the word go. From the time you become pregnant, to the time you give birth, to the time you breastfeed, to the time you've groomed them into the people they want to be, because motherhood does not end at just giving birth to a child. It even continues up to the time when they even get married. So you have to ensure that in all those processes or in all those stages, they are not infected, because that is the hardest thing or the most heartbreaking thing that any other woman would want to see happen to their child. I've really had sessions with some of these girls, and they have told me that when they were pregnant, they wanted to remove these kids. They wanted to terminate the pregnancies. But then I could really talk them into keeping the child, because I have gone through it. I know what it feels like. At that moment, you are in between things. You're at crossroads. You don't know what to do. It's your first time. You don't really know. Maybe the boy is not even present. Maybe the father of the child is not even present in your life. Maybe you were defiled or raped, and here you are, you're pregnant. So many things run in your mind, and it wouldn't be the best time to tell someone that, no, you will make it, this is the best time to do it. Of course, you counsel them. You give them the best counseling they deserve. And you try to talk them into having a positive mindset. It's not easy, and I know sometimes people go into depression, and sometimes people even reach a point of committing suicide. I reached that point where I was depressed, but because I had people who could console me and bring me back, there are these girls who don't have these people, and I chose to be that person, to step to sit or to step in those shoes and be that kind of person to support them to be the best mother they could ever be to their child or to their children. My biggest challenges, I should say, while doing this kind of work are, one is some girls, like I said, when a young woman or this girl or this young woman or this young mother falls into a state of depression, getting them back is hard, because you have to give them intensive counseling, and you cannot do that, or I cannot do that online with just doing it online. I have to go an extra mile of going to visit them, of which I don't have that capacity. Right now we are under the lockdown. There is no means of transport, and a girl tells you, I feel like committing suicide, and the best thing you have to do is call them. Sometimes you reach a point and you don't even have airtime on your phone. Sometimes you reach a point and you don't even have data, and this is the best way you can really, get in touch. And if you've failed at that level, I feel like I'm failing a full nation. And maybe the other thing also is, most of these young women, when they see you coming in to support them, they have very high expectations. And these expectations I cannot fulfill as a single person. The best thing I can do is talk to them. I can give them emotional support. I can show them examples. I can give them different people who have really made it. I can give them examples of myself. But then a girl will come and tell you, I'm on medication, I have this child, my boyfriend left me, I don't have a job, maybe they dropped out of school. And these are so many things that you cannot handle as one person. And the best thing you can do is just talk. And talking at some point does not help. You need to give them something that is much more than just talking to them. For example, if a girl is at campus, maybe they are pregnant or they have become mothers, what way are you going to support them to be maybe the person they are? Some of them are out of school, and the only thing that you can do for them is economic empowerment. And you cannot do that if you do not have the resources to support them. But however, you try in your best means to see that, you know, you make ends meet. Like I said, I reach a point of going deep into my pocket and get that small that I have and share it with the girls. For example, if a girl comes to me and tells me, I need to take my child for immunization, but I don't have transport, I'll ensure that at least if I have a 20,000 on my phone, I'll give it to them. And for me, I would find ways of getting that 20,000. I always get away. But for them, they don't have any way they can get them. And you're trying to prevent them from doing other things, or maybe leaving the child out there, maybe throwing them in a dumpster, or maybe committing suicide. And that is the best way you can do. However, my achievements are, there are so many girls who are really, grateful. And I've seen them, they are happy mothers. As much as they are young mothers, they are happy mothers. One can be with their child and be like, this is my soul, this is my, this is my joy, this is my life. And you see them holding onto that child like as though it's their treasure, like as though it's their gold. Because I talk to them, it kind of like gives them a sense of belonging, a sense of living. They have reason to live. And the other thing also is I've reached out to so many, as much as I cannot count them, but I've reached out to so many young women who are young mothers, and of course even girls and young women who are not yet mothers. My focus is on young mothers because of the different challenges that I've told you. However, even these young girls and young women have so many challenges. For example, there are so many temptations in the world. We are under lockdown, we are not at school. Some of them have their mothers who work in brothels, some of them work on fishing sites, and these are very risky environments for these girls. So in order to support them not to maybe become pregnant at that tender age, you offer them the awareness, the education. You tell them we have so many services that are going on. In case you have an issue, in case you have an STI, you go to the nearest clinic, or you can even share with them contacts that they always share about maybe the Sauti Plus, maybe those different toll-free lines. You share them. You share those numbers with them, and you tell them, just in case you have a problem, you call this number. But in case you feel you don't have anyone to talk to, reach out to me. I have this, I have that. For example, the young people, the younger adults, I even go an extra mile of even going and distributing condoms to them, because I know this is a stage where people are going to be very idle. This is a stage where girls are going to be enticed with so many nice things. And how do you then negotiate for safer sex rather than just going all in? Yeah, in Uganda, you say no chikuba live, you take it all in. And how do you even reach that? Like, how do you prevent that young girl from going to that level or from reaching that extent? But then you support them to prevent themselves right now. Wow, I have so many messages for these. I have so many messages for these girls and young women. But first and foremost, like I said, I'll prioritize that category of the young mothers. I would just tell them that it's not going to be an all, smooth and, milk and honey. There are going to be a lot of bumpy rides. There are going to be a lot of rocks, a lot of humps, a lot of ditches. But one thing you need to do is look at that child that you gave birth to and look at them and see and be like, if I were this child and then they told me my mother threw me away or left me, how would I feel? So you put yourself in that baby's shoes and imagine or they have thrown you in that cold weather at 10 p.m. or at 4 a.m. in the morning. How would you feel, And these mothers, I tell them, I know it's not going to be easy. I know things are not going to be easy. But one thing you need to do is look at that child and be like, if I leave this child to the world, are they going to nurture them the way I would want this baby to be nurtured? Yeah? And let that be your motivation. What do you want to see in this child that maybe you or me as a mother, I never reached, or I never fulfilled, or I never achieved, but then you want to see that happen in this child? Then Those, the young women and the other girls that are not yet pregnant or that are not yet young mothers, but you're still in school, please prioritize books. And for those that may be dropped out because of these incidences, I encourage you to go back to school. School has no age limit. Even, I mean, we have seen our different ministers, our different honorables going back in senior 6, you know. So if an honorable at 40 is going back at senior 6, then what about you who is just 20 and you're still living and you still have a life to build? It's not yet the end. So let us all be, you know, responsible. Let us be responsible for one another. Let us look out for each other. Let us also support each other. Parents who are there and you have children, you have girls at school, we are under lockdown. You know, these girls are going to be very idle. Keep them busy. Give them house chores. Give them something to do. If there is something to learn, give them that thing. Don't limit your child from learning. Let them learn so much. And I encourage parents to talk about these issues that we call forbidden issues, these talks, the sex talks, the sex education talks. Let them be normal things. Because if a child gets it from the parent, it's much easier and safer than if they go to find it out from friends, from Facebook, from teachers, you know, from the boys. So it's better if you, a father or a mother, sits your girl down or your boy down and tells them about these issues. Because Jemuva Jetuda, where you're from is where we are coming. And we wouldn't want to fall into the same potholes that you did. So maybe create that path for this child so that when they reach that level, they're like, my mother did a great job, my dad did a great job. We have these programs for these girls. Let us encourage families or let us support our girls and young women who have, I would call them, who have just fallen. Let us lift them back up. For example, if they have dropped out of school, let us bring them back. We give them that sense of belonging. We give them that safe space to feel that even after a fall, I can still rise up and walk.
Being a young mother means we met a little too early, but I got to love you a little longer. Thank you for watching. This has been the Upclose with Nakato. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Vice Versa Global. And until next time, bye-bye.